His goal is to assist people in the process of rapidly achieving their goals so they are able to live the life of their dreams. I'm excited to the show, a guest of the show on the day. He is 23 years of age. He was awarded the Congressional Award Gold Medal from the U.S. Congress. Today at the young age of 32, is that correct, Jairek?
32, yeah. Still 32 this year.
Still keeping her, man.
Haven't gone anywhere else yet.
He's unlocking the secrets for maximizing employee performance and organizational success, and has worked with many successful companies such as the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Olympic Team, and many more. He's captivating audiences as an elite keynote speaker on platforms like TedX, to his rapid results coaching program from top CEOs, Fortune 500 companies, mid-market firms from around the world, to his performance coaching university program, and author of his book, Live It, Achieving Success by Living with Purpose. He's a loving husband to his wife, Amanda, and is a rock star innovator, applying his own philosophy and living a life of adventure, philanthropy, and entrepreneurship, and is also very active with his charities and nonprofits that he supports, like Pencils of Promise, Change Heroes, Make-A-Wish, Restless Development, and the Anthony Robbins Foundation. Whether it's cage diving with great white sharks, hanging with silverbacks in Rwanda, whitewater rafting down the Nile River, working as a volunteer in underdeveloped regions, or building a powerful enterprise that's built for results, he does more than talk about it. He stretches the boundaries of traditional thinking and makes it happen. With great pleasure, I want to welcome to the show Mr. JR himself, Jairek Robbins.
Well, thank you for having me. I think the only thing you might have left out was active volcano boarding in Nicaragua. But besides that, I think you nailed it. And thank you for that wonderful introduction.
It was my pleasure. It was a pleasure hearing the great white sharks and the silverbacks. You know, you're like a little adventurer all over the place over here, JR.
Yeah, I love it. I figure if you can get the adrenaline going and experience the limits of what life has to offer, it's a unique and privileged opportunity to be able to test those limits. I think the only thing I wouldn't do is what was done recently, where the guy did 25,000-foot skydive with no parachute into a net. I don't know if I have the brass to pull that off just yet. At some point in the future, I might, but for right now, I'm a little too logical for a 25,000-foot free fall into a net.
That's pretty extreme. Oh man, definitely on the edge. So Jairek, tell us right now, what in your life right now is the most exciting that you're working on right now?
Everything. I mean, my goal really simply is to get to one person every day, and the person I'm looking for is the person that needs us most. And I say it every morning. You know, when I wake up, I say, hey, you know, I want to get to the person that needs me most at the exact moment they need me, and I want to deliver exactly what they need in that moment. And whether that's an epiphany, whether that's a kick in the ass, whether that's a wake-up call, whether that's a big hug, we've got it for them, and that's our goal. And over time, that ripples out, and it's the whole pay-it-forward method of we reach that person, and who knows how many people that person's going to positively reach. And so every day we do stuff to get that message out to the world, and we work on, you know, one-on-one coaching with our clients and help them, normally entrepreneurs and executives in various size companies. We have privileged opportunity to go around the world and do great keynote presentations for different audiences and organizations, some of which you listed, and it's really fun. And our goal is, how do we help people be the happiest, healthiest, and most fulfilled version of themselves, and how do we really help them maximize their personal performance and professional performance? And we're able to do that consistently and daily. Like, we're winning the game.
So you focus a lot on vision, I noticed, vision and also clarity, and really helping those companies get that in emotions. How do you do that? What's your driver in making that happen for those companies?
Sure. So vision and clarity are wonderful. You need those things. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to land up somewhere. And the truth is, you don't know where. On the flip side of that is, once they have a vision, which some companies do, we look for, how do you maximize performance? How do you get an individual to be at the absolute best? According to Harvard researcher, what was his name? Charles Duhigg did Habits. Hold on one second. Let me pull up his name. It'll hit me in a minute. He wrote the book called The Happiness Advantage, and he did a great talk on it. So I'll pull it up. But he figured out that according to 200 different studies, and let me show you this, Happiness Advantage. I don't have his name, but 200 studies on over 275,000 people concluded happiness leads to success in nearly every area of life, including marriage, health, friendship, community involvement, creativity, jobs, career, business. Happy workers They tend to have higher levels of productivity, higher sales results, better in leadership positions, higher performance ratings, higher pay and better job security. And happy CEOs and executives are better to lead teams of employees who are happy, healthy, and who find work climate conducive for high performance. So we figure that out and we go, okay, if that's what the research shows from Harvard, how do we take that and make it reality inside of someone's workplace? And whether that's on an individual level or a team level, we have an energy company up in Toronto that we work with where they have a big handful of employees that are out selling every day and running the office and delivering these contracts. And we work with that team twice a week to get that whole team at that level. And if you mix that together with a conceptual, if you go to someone like a Chip Conley who wrote a book called Peak, he talks about that in every organization, each person that shows up operates at one of three levels, either a transactional level, like I show up here to do this job and I do the job and get paid and then I'm done. Don't ask anything more from me. And P.S., if company B down the road offers me $50,000 more a year to do the same job, I'm going there because that's what I'm here for. Versus a relational or a recognition type level or appreciation where you've built such a strong relationship dynamic with your team that if I were to come in and offer them $50,000 more to do the exact same job for me, they would literally go, oof, that's a great opportunity, but I don't know if you would recognize my talents like they do here. I don't know if you'd appreciate me much, as they do here. I don't know if you'd really, truly let me shine as bright as they do here. Oof. I don't know if that's the right decision. And you're like, what? It's $50,000 more. And they're like, but I don't know. I need the community. I like the relationship I have here. They really appreciate my talent and gifts. I was like, wow, you've built such a deep connection with your team. You get them to perform at high levels and they'll never go anywhere. Retention goes up. Or can you get your team to the transformational level, according to Chip, where they really live in a place that they believe this is their calling in life. And by them being here, no matter how much money or recognition I try to offer them, they would never budge in a heartbeat because this is literally what their core DNA was built to do on this planet.
When you go into companies, are most companies at transactional or relational, like in that element to transformational? Like is transformational like how you help those companies elevate them to get that level?
Not at all. I mean, I met a guy who was sweeping leaves in Uganda outside of a clinic who lived in a transformational level. And I doubt any executives or consultants came into that company and said, okay, clinic, let's talk to your team. Let's have, let's recite the mission of the organization here. How are you guys doing today? Okay, you, guy who lives in the closet and sweeps the leaves in the morning, like, do you believe in the mission of the core of this clinic? I doubt that ever happened, being where I was. No running water, no electricity, no toilets. But when I interviewed the guy and asked him, why do you do what you do? Because he had so much pride, so much pleasure, so much presence in what he did, just swept leaves every morning and kept the place clean. He said, I do this because I believe every human being, whether it's a small child about to enter this world or a sick or elderly person about to leave this world, deserves a clear path to do so. And I stepped back and went, whoa, that dude is living his calling in life, his mission in life. And all he does is sweep leaves. And I guarantee no consultant came in and taught him that. So not all companies, doesn't matter what you do. I've met stockbrokers and doctors and CEOs and executives and, Fortune 500 people who you go in and sit down with them, and even Fortune 1,000 people, all this jazz. You sit down with them, and even though they're the top leader and you think they're the most aspirational, leading by mission individual, they're there for the money. And as long as those numbers come through, they'll stay. And if something else offers them a better deal, they'll crap out that business and walk away in a heartbeat. You're like, whoa, wow, didn't expect that. On the reverse side, you meet people who, again, the guy sweeping leaves, he's there at a transformational level. Now, the calibration is like just like an Olympic athlete. If you showed up at camp on day one, I don't assume anything about you. You tell me you want to run, the 400-meter dash. I say, great, let's get out there on the track. I'm going to grab a stopwatch. You go stretch and do whatever you need to do, and you get on the track and run. And we're going to find out one thing on day one, how fast you can actually do it. Now, based on your performance, we're going to pull you off the track and say, what's your goal? I know how fast you do run right now. Now, what do you actually do? And so we use lots of biofeedback and different machines and gadgets to track people. And I want to know what you're like. You tell me that you want to perform at your best. Well, I know your best has a certain ratio of breathing, has a certain ratio of sleeping, has a certain type of fuel you have to put in your body to be at your best. I know mentally you have to be in a certain, clarity of mind, the ability to focus and stay present. And so the fun part at this point in history, I have all the gadgets that can tell me that stuff. And I can send them all to you, hook you up for a week, and I will know at the end of the week how you're actually performing. That's my stopwatch to see how fast you run your 400 meters. Now, once I have the actual metrics, I need to know what your goal is. If you want to say you want to be the best you've ever been in your entire life, I need to know what those metrics are, and we can put together a solid plan to get you there.
I love it. I love it. So when someone comes to you for looking at clarity and vision, tell me the 3 things you would tell them right off the bat that you would help them get clarity on that vision, a vision that has a very compelling why, an emotional kick in the butt that really gets them out of the bed in the morning. What are the 3 keys?
First, I would simplify it. Most people start way too big.
Okay.
So most people are like, hey, how do I reach 1 billion lives? Or how do I make $1 billion? Or how do I transform my company and industry? That's all fine and dandy and stuff, but that's why most people quit because they're so excited to do the impossible that 3 months into it, when they don't feel like they've made any progress or too small a progress, they go, wow, I'll never get there. And they quit, give up, and walk away. So what I want to know is the very first thing, if I'm looking for someone's vision, is what's your ideal day vision? How do you want to live day-to-day life? Real simple. Because if I know how you want to live your daily life, I can help you wrap everything else around that. And what we're looking for is what's the simple way you live your day-to-day life that helps you be happy, fulfilled, healthy, abundant, alive, passionate, on purpose, living your calling. Just a simple day-to-day living. Because most people want to transform everything. I'm like, don't transform anything. Like literally just write out how you want to live your day-to-day life. What time do you want to wake up? Who do you want to have with you? Where do you want to go? How do you want to feel? What do you want to do? What kind of energy do you want to have? What possibilities do you want available? And when we can nail down the basics, the very first step is how do we turn that into your day-to-day reality? And I'll give you an example. I had a client who hired me who was working for a very large bank in New York City. He was actually stationed in London, heading up their global book of a certain category of business. So he was very high up. He was, only so many promotions away from the top of the company. He was making a huge 7-figure a year, paycheck, doing very well compared to most people in the world. And when I first met him, I asked him, what's your ideal day? And he said, I would wake up, I would have the love of my life next to me. I would be somewhere in the country. I would have this beautiful view, this scenic view of country and beauty and maybe ocean. I would take a run on the beach. I'd have, an animal or pet with me. I'd come home and have my beautiful children and my wife taking care of them. I'd have a, location independent business that I could work from anywhere on earth and run it from my home in the country. And I would have this, connection to the planet and life. I'd be able to put my feet in the dirt and just connect with the earth. And I'd have this beautiful, life, knowing that I'm making an impact, I'm making a difference, I'm giving my family this beautiful, abundant life and stuff like that. I said, great. What does your life look now? He says, holy crap. I wake up first thing in the morning. I sprint to the gym. I work out as hard as possible. I run to the office. I'm sitting managing a financial desk all day. I have maximum stress to the freaking ceiling, people yelling and screaming all day, tension through the roof. And I said, well, how often do you put your feet in the dirt? And he's like, well, I live in a city that's completely concrete. I said, wow, sounds like you're really living the dream.
Wow. That's sure a shift. That's a whole different ballgame than what he was putting for his ideal day.
Yeah, that's not even close.
My goodness gracious.
And so we had to sit back and I could tell him, one, I know why you're not happy with what you're doing, clearly. And anyone could basically see that. And two, I can't tell you quit today and follow your dreams. That's irrelevant. I mean, it's nice to say, and you hear coaches say shit like that. Cut it off. Just go for it. Watch. It'll work. And it's no, the dude's making 7 figures a year. You don't just cut that off and freaking ta-da. Mm-hmm. No, you have a transition plan. It took us about 18 months. And 18 months later, he literally called me one day and he's like, holy crap, I did it. And I'm like, did what? And he's like, I woke up this morning. I'm in the house in the Hamptons I purchased. I'm looking at this beautiful view. I just went for a run on the beach. I came home. My wife's here. P.S. She's 3 months pregnant. I'm working on my dream business in the back office I have here. This is amazing. He's like, literally, I forgot about this. The only reason I figured it out was this morning I bumped into my old journal. I opened it up, and that was the very first page that was there. And I read it and went, oh my God, it's real.
Wow.
And that's normally what it sounds like.
That without much emotion.
Yeah.
I love it.
And P.S., this is not an emotional human being.
Yeah, oh, exactly.
This is a very logical, math-driven banker who gave me that excited of a phone call.
Wow.
Which I was blown out. I was like, is he on something? Like, normally you don't hear that elatedness out of a banker in that way. So he was stoked, and he did it. And now he's transitioned. He raised a few $100 million, has this amazing business. Everything is growing. It's really remarkable.
But we look at visions, though, Jairek. Here's the thing with visions is you hear people say, well, pick your vision for 5 years from now or 10 years from now or 1 year from now. What, in your eyes, is right? What's the most logical, not logical, what is the most empowering way to put a vision together?
It's why we started with 1 day.
Love it.
Because we wrote a book on this.
Yep.
Chapter 1 is how do you design your absolute ideal day vision. Chapter 2 through 11 is how to turn that vision into reality based on my experience and thousands of clients' experiences. Chapter 12, now how do you amplify it? Now that you've proven to yourself, I can take 1 day and make it real. Now you have the strength and the momentum to say, if I can make 1 day real, why not 5 years? Why not 10 years? Why not 20 years? But most people do the reverse. They come up with their 20-year, 100-year vision for their life of how amazing and blissful it's going to be. Today they go out and do something. It feels like you're 20 years away. Why even try? It's not going to add up. I don't even get it. And people are like, believe more. That has nothing to do with freaking belief. You have no momentum on your side. Taking 1 step forward to a 20-year vision feels like nothing. And either you just have to believe and believe and believe and believe, and hopefully you get there, or you got to step back and say, shit, I need to get a much smaller goal to aim for to prove to myself that this shit works. That's why we say start with a day. Just start with a day. And most people, to turn that day into actual livable daily reality, it normally takes 6-12 months until it's literally like, that's how you live. This is just life.
So you're saying the ideal day that basically you're crafting for your client or the person that you're talking to, for example, maybe it's their crafting, may take up to 6 months to actually implement into full like motion, basically.
So it becomes your daily reality.
Got it.
6-12 months.
Now,
6-12 months. Now that's your day. That's every day. That's how you live life at this point. Like, you own it. You're just like, wow, I can't believe this came true. And at that moment, there's the epiphany, there's the confidence, there's the connection of like, if I can do it for a day, why not a year? Why not 5? And that's why we put that in that order.
I love what you did. That was phenomenal, Jairek. That's really, really good, guys. That's in your book, right?
Yeah.
Live It, right?
That's literally that's the book.
Guys,
Chapter
get that
1
book.
is how to turn 1 day into reality and how to outline it and design it and craft it in your own way. And that's for everybody. It's not just for entrepreneurs and stuff. We have people who work as a manager at a textile company that does all the carpeting for planes. And we had her map out her ideal day and how she turned it into reality. We have a lady who's a stay-at-home mom who's also a writer on the side, and what her day would look like, being with her child, who also struggles with slight autism, and what her ideal day would be like. We have a guy who's a banker and what his day looks like. We have someone who's an entrepreneur in a startup and what their ideal day look like. I think the only one we might have left out is someone who's retired, but that's also a good time to do it. If you're going from 50 years at the office and you got your golden watch and it's time to retire and you're thinking like, what the heck am I going to do with myself? You might want to design your ideal day of how you want to live your life day to day. And I'll give you one set of criteria just to riff on this half second more. The key is the type of day that nothing on earth would be worth trading for.
Oh, interesting.
No amount of money, no amount of fame, no amount of fortune, no amount of nothing could someone offer you, and you go, oh, screw it. I'll stop living this type of day and I'll go do that instead. So it's not transactional. You want something that's transformational or relational that says, I crave to live this type of day-to-day life so much that no matter how many zeros you put on the table, I wouldn't even consider letting it go. And it's a test. I mean, I've had that test somewhat recently. I had a few offers from, family companies a few years ago that said, hey, come back and work with us, do the following things, same stuff you do every day, but do it for us, and we'll write you a big check for it. And I was like, no. I didn't say just no. I said, I appreciate the offer. I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and I'm going to say no to that because that's not how I want to live my day-to-day life.
Good for you, Jairek.
And that's hard. And and there were some zeros stacked on there, some opportunities that would have sped us up and give us more things faster. And I was like, no, that's not what I'm doing.
Well, I noticed what basically you've built. Even watching some of your live, Facebook videos you put together. And I've never seen you on stage yet, so obviously there'll be a day for that.
Sure.
But you've really crafted a unique image and brand for yourself, and you can tell you're very passionate about what you do. That's very obvious in this right now, even in the interview. So what you're doing is phenomenal, and you're very passionate about the purpose side of stuff. So tell somebody right now listening, obviously beyond the book, Live It, is there anything additional you've learned about purpose and vision and crafting the ideal day that you didn't put in your book that you want to say right now?
Around purpose and vision and crafting your ideal day. I mean, it's all there.
It's all there? Nothing else?
That it's there. I mean, the stuff you can do, you need to get in a peak state. So throw on some music, go dance, do a happy dance, get in, I don't know what religion you are, but if you believe in Christmas, the night before Christmas or the night before everyone has a birthday. So the day before your birthday, anticipating those surprises and rewards and what it's going to feel like. And from that place of limitlessness and unlimited possibility, that's where to design from. And it could sound ridiculous. It could be totally weird and odd and out there and zany and zoinky and whatever else you want to say about it. But start with the real, true nature of it. And don't think the first time you write it down, it's going to be perfect. Maybe write it down once and visit it once a month for the next 3 months and update it every month and go test some of it. Because the other part is people will write down stuff. They're like, if I could do this, my life would be amazing. And then they go do it. And they're like, that shit is not amazing. They're like, that's not what I thought it would be. and so I'm like, hey, I'm glad you didn't lock that in for 40 years. So you also want to make sure that you really, truly are aware of what you're actually asking for. And sometimes you got to go test it out to see if what you really want.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
It's like someone in a relationship says, I want to be with someone who's really passionate. And you're like, okay, great. And they get someone and they get into a fight the first time. And the person's like, why would you do this? And they're like, I don't want someone that's fucking passionate about this. And you're like, wow, choose wisely, please.
You're the reflection of what you're looking for.
Yeah. Not only that, but like you find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's the difference. It's like, my dad asks people all the time, how many people like surprises? And everyone's like, oh yeah. And he's like, bullshit. You like the surprises you want. Everything else you call problems.
So true. So true.
So you really have to know what you want. And that's a key factor. Otherwise, you're going to get what you ask for and what you go out and achieve. And the challenge is you don't know if you really want that. People are like, I want to make $1 billion. I always sit back and I'm like, you have no clue the demand of yourself you have to be able to show up at every day to be able to create $1 billion worth of value every day. No clue how hard these people work. And you're like, well, I want to lie on the beach and do it. Shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're bang on.
Yeah. So you really have to know, like, if you want that value in return, what do you really have to put in to get it? And if you're willing to make that sacrifice and investment, it's there for you. That's what's fun. And that's proven time and time again. Eric Thomas, guy who grows up in Detroit, doesn't finish school, takes 12 years to get his GED, finally goes and gets his PhD. Dude makes $100,000 a speech right now, doing very well for himself, growing like crazy, reaching people all over the world, dynamically touching millions of lives a day. And what's amazing is that proves it's possible.
Totally.
And that's growing up in a first world country.
Yeah.
Then you take someone randomly from, like, I don't know, a struggling developing nation. They make it to the Olympics. They become a world leader. Like, it's amazing what's possible. So I don't care where you're starting. Like, it is possible to build the dream you want. You just got to be real specific and honest about what you do want. And you might need a little sampling to figure out the details.
I totally agree.
So if I was going to throw out that might be an extra couple tips for people.
Thanks, Jairek. Rapid fire peak 5 questions. Here we go. Okay.
Sure.
Number 1, do you have a coach or a mentor right now that have in your life? Always. Awesome. 1 or 2 or 3, 4?
I have different coaches for different areas of my life.
Awesome. Any names you want to pop up right now on the interview? Any names?
If you're looking for a health coach, my guy, we were talking about this before. I don't know if that'd be great for you though. But I'll leave it at this. I have a coach here in Tampa. Yeah. He works for me specifically on a health plan and fitness plan. I travel constantly. So you asked, do I have someone physically there with me? No, he emails me the plan. He emails me the outline. And he gives me exactly what to do. And like I said, if you have to think about it when you get to the gym, you already wasted time. So he gives me exactly, like, walk in, warm up in this way. From there, do these reps. From there, go and do these stretches. From there, get on the treadmill for this amount. From there, you're done. Get out of here. And so I literally just open it up on my phone and I follow instructions and get the hell out.
Love it.
And it works. It's very nice. Finances, we have a different coach. He works with us different parts of the year, but we talk with him. We show him our books. We run through our numbers. We look at our goals, and we make sure we have a plan in place that's actually adding up to where we want to go. Emotions, my wife is my coach. I also have this little cool thing I wear on my belt called a Spire. Mm-hmm. And Spire tracks my breathing, and that breathing is an emotional coach because it tells me every single day how I'm doing. Currently, I am 15 minutes in a sedentary streak because I've been sitting too long talking to you. But if I scroll back to yesterday, it tells me that I was 42 minutes focused.
Oh, okay.
I was however minutes calm, and I had a little bit of tension show up in my day. And all that means is my breathing pattern shifted. And so emotionally, I need a little coach like this to keep track of me and say, if I'm going to perform at absolute peak performance, I got to make sure to stay out of that red zone and stay in that green and blue zone more consistently.
It's called Aspire?
Spire, S-P-I-R-E.
It's an app on your phone, eh?
It's a little gadget you buy, and then it also has an app on your phone too that correlates with it.
Very cool. I'm definitely looking at that, guys. So check it out, guys. Spire, check it out. Number 2, what is your most influential book? One book.
I've only written one book, and I think it's influential, but I'd go with Live.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's the influential book I've written, if you say it's my book. A book I've read that's been really tremendously influential on me. I would go with Amazing Development of Men by Alison Armstrong.
Love it. Number 3, what is your most influential quote? Not the one you have, but one that's influenced you in your life.
I think it just rings true to my DNA, and it is part of my DNA, but the purpose of living is giving.
Love it.
And probably going back to you make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give.
That's a good one. If you could tell your 20-year-old self one lesson, which would be 12 years ago, what would that be?
You're going to do great.
If there were no limits to what you could contribute to in the world, absolutely no limits whatsoever, what would that contribution be?
Exactly what we're doing now.
Wow, that's a really good answer, Jairek. Very nice. And what is your definition of mindset?
Definition of mindset. I mean, mindset, just what is mindset?
Your definition.
Like defining mindset, just your ability to understand what's going on. It's the approach in which you mentally take to something. But the ideal mindset, which might be a little addition to your question, that'd be, so if you want to use something, simple biofeedback, the ability to understand your cognition and how to at will use it to what you need it to do.
I like that.
And so neurofeedback, biofeedback. I was just hanging out with the guys from Stanford the neuropsych lab there, and a few weeks ago when I was up in San Francisco, and these guys are looking for super performance. What actually is happening in someone's brain that causes them to be there? And so we use Spire to track our breathing. And that gives us a really strong, they have heart math with these little sensors. The only thing I don't like about heart math is it's a funky sensor, so it's not easily to wear. It's not a wearable. But then they also have something like Choose Muse, which is a very, very, very simple version of like an EEG, where you could practice each day controlling your brain. And basically it does it through auditory feedback, but you can sit down, hook up this little thing, put the headset on, and when your thoughts start to become cloudy and you have too many thoughts, you start to hear the wind. And then the goal is quiet the wind. And so literally you can train your brain how to be quiet and how to stay focused every morning for 3 minutes a day.
That's cool.
And where would that be useful? When you're in the middle of a tense meeting at the office and you can't fucking focus because your thoughts are going in every direction, and you have the ability to quiet the wind of your mind, get totally laser focused on the task and get it done. Super performance. So like I said, there's lots of tools to do this. Back in the day, it was like, say your affirmations, positive visualization. Like that stuff's all fine and dandy and wonderful and very useful. But I want to be able to slap a little machine on you and tell you biologically how you're actually doing, not just, do you feel better? Good, it's working.
Some actual measurable results.
Yeah, I want proof. I want to know that your breathing ratio has gotten consistently calm and centered over the last 3 months compared to, you have 50% less tense moments throughout your day. Not because the tense moments aren't there, because you learned how to better breathe through them and to stay calm and centered even while tension is happening. I want to know that during your meeting, where normally your mind would start to wander and you couldn't stay focused on the task at hand, and all of a sudden now you have total mental clarity and you were able to get through that like a fucking laser and really complete the task. Not only that, that means your sales have gone up, you feel better at home, you're more present. Like, there's so many positive side effects, like I said in the beginning. Better marriages, better health, better friendship, better community involvement, better creativity, better job, better career, better business. That's what I'm aiming for in your life.
I love it.
And we want tangible results. We want the numbers to tell the story, and emotionally that's wonderful, but we want to gauge emotion. We want to, have a real true count on what happened. I want to know that your heart rate's positively going in the direction, you're getting healthier, you're sleeping better, your marriage is going up, your sales have doubled last month. Like, those are the tangibles I'm aiming for in performance, not just, hey coach, I feel better, thanks.
Yeah, that's not really tangible. Well, Jairek, thank you very much for your time on this show. It really was amazing. And I want to ask you one quick final question. Is there anything else you want to add before we finish off our show today?
Sure. There's one philosophy we really stand for in everything that drives what we do. And it's 3 parts. It's learn it, live it, give it. And if I were to ask everyone out there and challenge you, that go out and learn what it takes to have the life you want. And I don't know what that is because I don't know what life you want. But once you've designed your ideal day and you know exactly what you want, go learn what it takes to get there. And once you've done the education and the research and you've figured out who to model and who to learn from, and you've learned how to make it happen, live it, which is the whole purpose of that book. But make it reality. Turn that vision into actual day-to-day life for yourself, so you can look around and go, wow, I created this by hand and I made it work. And once you figure out how to make it work for you, pay it forward. Share what you've learned with those around you, not as the 5 golden pillars of success or some bullshit like that, but share it with them as another option of what might work for them.
Excellent. And where can they find you online? Do you have any products coming out here that people can learn about your programs and products?
Sure, we have tons. Grab a copy of our book. You can go to liveitbook.com. You can meet me. Just Google my name and it'll pull up all our stuff. And if you pull up, our main website, we have a free Ideal Day Design Kit if people want one of those. We have a podcast that's up, Learn It, Live It, Give It with Jairek Robbins. You can join us and listen in if you like information like this. We share it constantly. We have our YouTube channel, jrctv.com. If you want to just watch videos and listen to our free weekly trainings we post up. If you're someone who's interested in becoming a performance coach yourself, we have a brand new certification program that's up called Performance Coach University. It's a 12-week online training where we train people 3 hours a week, a little bit more than that some weeks, on how to do what we do and what we've done for companies and clients for last 13, 14 years now. And we train people how to do that as well in their own life as a business. And then we're all over.
I love it. Well, Jairek, thank you very much for your time. Guys, check him out online, JarekRobbins.com. His book, Live It, and all his programs you're going to find on his website. He is a powerhouse, Jairek. It was a true pleasure having you on this show. Thank you. And guys, go to his Facebook page, like his page, share his information, go to his podcast show. You're going to get inspired and empowered to achieve and do more. Thanks, Jairek.
Of course. Thank you for having me.